Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Charlotte and today we're gonna do another Let's Talk video. So today I want to talk about alexithymia. I feel like it's a word that when you hear the definition, if you're anything like me, in being somebody who is neurodivergent, it's gonna make a lot of sense. I absolutely had no intentions on sitting down to film this video today. I had just sat down and just filmed a little ad-lib bit for the vlog that I'm currently working on, because I basically caught myself saying, I don't really know how it is I'm feeling right now. I know it's not good, but I can't really put my finger on what it is. But I know it's not good. I don't feel good. So I thought, while I'm in the throes of feeling alexithymic, it might be a good idea to sit down and talk about it, just because it is something that I'm in the throes of right now. So the Oxford Dictionary defines alexithymia as the inability to recognize or describe one's own emotions. It's something that isn't to do with sort of like being mentally ill. However, it's really common in cases of PTSD, eating disorders, autism, ADHD, like your neurodivergencies. And it's something that I didn't realize was a thing. I thought it was just me not being able to find the right words to define it, but it turns out it's actually a pretty common experience with people whose brains are kind of wired a bit more like mine. I think in my own experience of alexithymia, it can be a really frustrating phenomenon to have to deal with, because if you're coming across as like kind of sad and someone's like, oh, what's wrong? What's the matter? Like, not being able to define that, not being able to express how you're feeling and what you're feeling, it can be super frustrating. It's not something that I particularly enjoy having to do. And I feel like, and a lot of the time when somebody's asking you what's wrong, or like, how are you feeling, and there's somebody that doesn't experience this, it can quite often come across as like attention seeking, and that's not what it is at all. Being like, oh, nothing, or I don't know. Me saying I don't know doesn't mean that I'm asking you to probe and ask more questions. I am simply telling you that I don't know how I'm feeling. I can recognize what good feelings are and what bad feelings are, but sometimes it's very, very difficult to make that kind of differentiation between the two of them. And I think if that's not something that you experience, then the girls that get it, right? I feel like for me, alexithymia affects my negative emotions worse than my positive ones. I feel like it's easier to figure out that I'm feeling happy, or that I'm feeling excited, or that kind of thing. But then at the same time, I kind of wonder, do I know what those things feel like? Or do I just not overanalyze when I have a positive feeling emotion the way that I do when it's a negative one? Because if you're happy, people aren't asking you like, why are you so happy? Like, what are you feeling right now? It's only something that you ever get asked when you're experiencing a negative emotion. I think that's kind of interesting. But then at the same time, I know when I'm feeling like appreciation, I know when I'm feeling love, I know when I'm feeling excited. Sometimes the crossover between nervous and excited can be a little bit confusing, and like I have previously referred to it as nervous-sighted. Particularly with negative emotions, sometimes I find it really, really difficult to pinpoint exactly why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, or what that emotion even is. So in my case, I feel like my experiences with alexithymia are more so caused by ASD and ADHD, and not being able to regulate my emotions particularly well. And it's not even just regulate my emotions, it's even define them. I just, especially when it's negative. Sometimes I don't know whether what I'm feeling is jealousy. I don't know whether what I'm feeling is just good old-fashioned being sad. And a lot of the time, like, just finding the root cause for it. Like, I don't know what's made me feel that way. Is it just that I'm tired? I don't know. Is it because I'm hungry? I don't know. But yeah, particularly with emotions that are less than enjoyable, shall we say, it can be quite difficult to pinpoint exactly what that is. There's another sort of ASD trait that I experience quite heavily, and that is, oh god, I've just forgotten what it is. Now it's ADHD's turn. Sick. And that's the phenomenon of feeling like you need to talk about a topic or something that's going on to multiple different people in order to get a better understanding of what you're feeling. Now, previously, I had just assumed that I was annoying and people had made me feel like I had been attention seeking when I'd gone and had conversations with multiple people about how I was feeling and the emotions that I was feeling. It turns out that having to go to multiple different people and talking through what you're feeling and the emotions that you're feeling is a really common trait, particularly in women with ASD, to try and get a better understanding of how they're feeling. And it totally makes sense. Like, the two things go entirely hand in hand, and for me, I feel like that's the best way for me to figure out what I'm feeling. It's not just a case of me being like, oh, I need to talk about it and get it off of my chest. Through talking about how I'm feeling, whether that's verbally, whether that's with a friend over Messenger, whether that's in voice notes, unless I speak how something feels inside outwardly, I find it quite difficult at times to come up with a rational understanding of the emotions that I'm feeling. With alexithymia, in my own personal experience, when I'm not really processing how I'm feeling as such, and I haven't really talked about it out loud, it can get to the point where I'm almost like a pressure cooker, in that if you keep the lid on that pot for a really long time and the heat is still on constant, you end up boiling over. And when I end up boiling over, it's not particularly fun for anybody. And it's not like I get angry or shouty or anything like that. I'm a crier, okay? I am a Pisces. My rising sign is Cancer. Thank God that there is a Virgo moon in there to keep the rest of it in check, because my big three would be a mess if I didn't have a earth sign to balance out the water. It gets to the point where I can't verbalize how I'm feeling or even talk about how I'm feeling, and I just end up crying. I'm a very big advocate for talking through your feelings. I wish it was something that I had the ability to feel like I could do when I was younger, because talking about like your problems and how you're feeling about a situation when you're somebody who's neurodivergent, it's not necessarily like an easily identifiable thing. And sometimes I have to talk around the houses. I have to go around the houses to sort of get an idea of what it is that I'm feeling. So yeah, I can just think back to like there being so many instances in like different periods of my life where I had been told by an ex-partner of mine, Charlotte, just use your words, and I'm like, dude, I can't, I don't know, all of the words have left my head. Like, I don't know what words to use to describe how I'm feeling. And the same when I was a kid, I didn't know what emotions it was that I was feeling. All I could tell you was I'm gonna cry right now, because big feelings are overwhelming, and when you don't have, it's not that I didn't have the vocabulary, but when you don't know which of those words line up, or even like what it is that's causing you to feel so sad, it can be tough. It can be really tough. I think if you are somebody that experiences alexithymia, the best way I've found to deal with it is by having some means of expressing how you're feeling, whether that's like free journaling, which is where you just write, you just sit down and you write constantly for like half an hour. That can be really good if you've got the time and the space to do that. Awesome. great, because I feel like it's easier to write down how I'm feeling than it is to verbalize, because I can take some time to process and put down and reword things. Whenever I go to the doctors about my mental health, I will take bullet points, or I will take a paragraph that I've written. Like, so writing down what is going on in your brain when you're in the throes of it can be really, really useful, I found in my experience. Doing art can help express it as well. Not always like the most convenient, especially if like you're trying to deal with that with other people, but I think sometimes if you are able to create something much in the same as writing, actually, because they're both creative processes, if you're able to express how you're feeling with art, because you're not necessarily using like spoken word, that can help as well. Sometimes they might just be scribbles, and that's fine, but if you're able to like get it onto paper, I've found that in doing that, or like the kind of meaning behind it comes with it. If you have a support network that you can go to and like talk through your feelings, I'm quite fortunate, because a lot of the time I do have access to multiple people that will just listen to me ramble. And I know this is going to sound a little bit contradictory, because I've just said sometimes it's hard to get the words out verbally. It's going to be different for everybody. But sometimes sending your friends a podcast length voice note about the situation, even if they don't listen to it, can help you process what you're feeling. And because you're able to say the thoughts out loud, sometimes you'll have an epiphany moment and you'll connect the dots. I mean, that's what happens for me most of the time. It does mean that I end up going off on a million different tangents. My poor friends, I mean, shout out to them for putting up with my bullshit. But I guess I'm kind of fortunate in that most of the people that I hold closest to me are also neurodivergent, so they get it. And a lot of the time I'll be like, I don't even expect you to respond to this. I just needed to figure it out. That has worked quite well for me as well. Or just sitting down and having a chat about how you're feeling. But yeah, if you've experienced alexithymia, if it's something that you're dealing with as a result of trauma or like neurodivergence, just know that you're not alone. There are plenty of other people that are feeling exactly the same as you are and feel very lost in not being able to figure out what the hell their brain is telling them. But it's okay, and it's just about finding out what works best for you. But yeah, hopefully having listened to somebody else's experiences with it might make you feel a little bit better. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments if any of what I've said is like wrong, true for you, whether it's something that makes sense to you even. It's good to talk. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if that's what you're into, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.